Today, I'm going to try to beat a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon HeartGold playing as Gym Leader Janine using her best possible team from her actual appearances in the main series games. For this run, we're going to get one new randomly selected encounter per every badge that we obtain, and I'm going to keep her team members a secret until we actually get them. And we'll also be allowed to use her two best alternates as well to make it a more reasonable challenge. Janine being a poison type trainer, I'm imagining is going to be quite tricky for a few of the major challenges ahead, but I'm curious to see if this is going to be possible. If you want to see more trainer runs, make sure to smash that like button and let me know what trainer you want to see next. Let's see if we can beat Pokemon HeartGold as Janine with only one new encounter per badge obtained, no items in battle, level caps in place, and the battle mode on set at all times. Today's video is sponsored by BetterHelp. You see, back in my early days of university, I had a rough go of things and was diagnosed with panic disorder with daily debilitating panic attacks. And as stubborn as I am, I waited a long time trying to tough it out by myself before finally having the courage to talk to an in-person counselor at the school's health center. Fortunately, I now haven't had a single panic attack since 2015, and I attribute that fact in large part to the skills that I learned in therapy, and the ability to talk to somebody candidly and judgment-free about what it was I was going through. I used to think I just had to deal with these panic attacks on my own, but opening up to a therapist was simply life-changing. The act of talking to someone who could listen without judgment helped me realize that I wasn't alone, and the coping strategies I learned made all the difference in overcoming it. If you're struggling with anxiety, depression, or any other mental health challenge, I highly recommend trying therapy. And a great option to consider is BetterHelp. If online therapy was an option for me back in 2015, I probably would have spoken to a therapist sooner. With BetterHelp, you can connect with a licensed therapist online on your schedule. Just fill out a questionnaire about your needs and get matched with a therapist within 48 hours. Have phone, video, or chat therapy sessions whenever works for you, and easily switch therapists if needed. Don't wait to get the support that you deserve. Go to betterhelp.com/sylph or select Sylph Spectre as sign up for a special discount off your first month of therapy. Alright, it's time. Let's activate Janine mode. Yes, that's a thing. Picking our randomly selected team member as our starter, it ends up being her Tentacool, awesome, which has a rash nature, giving it plus special attack stats and minus special defense. Not bad to be honest, and the Liquid Ooze ability, which honestly surprises a lot of people in competitive. I'd recommend trying it out as a Tentacool can be quite bulky and any draining moves actually hurt the opponent instead. I'm waiting for Pokemon that only appear at night. My dude, it's 10:13 a.m. The eclipse has already happened too, so you're off your rails. Wait, Professor Oak, why are you pretending like you don't know me? It's me, Janine, gym leader in your home region? I guess I'm overshadowed by my father. Ooh, Ethan is a snitch. He didn't hesitate a second before ratting out Silver to the police. Making our way through the early routes without a hitch, we arrive in Violet City, the location of the first gym. But first, we have to make our way through Sprout Tower, which I'm actually a bit nervous about. You see, the trainers in here all have Bellsprout, surprise surprise, and Grass is neutral against us due to our part water typing, and poison attacks against them are neutral due to their poison typing. So we had a lot of close calls throughout. Okay there, Edgelord. After that guy gets out of here, it's time for the big challenge, the Elder. He leads with a Bellsprout of his own at level 7. I can't get too high of a level due to the cap, so we're stuck with Poison Sting at level 11, which doesn't do much and of course can't poison him. He starts loading up with growth as we miss Supersonic, but then we hit one on the next turn. Vine Whip then hits us for 4 HP as we can slowly chip him down despite him snapping out of confusion almost immediately, and we get the 4-hit KO with just above half health. A miss and an early confusion heal is not good, as in comes Hoot Hoot, but we get a crit and poison on our first Poison Sting. Beautiful. But then he lands a Hypnosis to put us to sleep, and we stay asleep for 2 turns, getting brought to 12 HP, then get brought to just 6 HP in the red by Peck before we can outspeed on the next turn, and barely don't KO, and he lands another Hypnosis. Oh no, this is all over, but at least Poison does take him down from there. In comes his final Pokemon, another Bellsprout with us asleep and on a sliver of health, but he keeps using Growth, and I am very thankful that in this gen it only powers up special attack, not both of them, as he only has Vine Whip and he keeps spamming it for some reason, so we're able to take him to a quarter health before he lands one, and we survive on just 2 HP and can land a final attack which gets just the range to KO. Oh man, we haven't even reached the first gym yet and got through a battle by the slimmest of margins. Yikes. Now realizing what a predicament we're in, I decide to try and do some EV training with the limited XP space that we have left. One option is to hit up the Ruins of Alph against unknowns who give 1 attack EV and 1 special attack EV each. But there is a better option. level 6 Mareep south of Violet City. As per our current XP, I managed to get 16 EVs from them and a few HP EVs from Caterpie too. But I am still not feeling good about the Violet City gym led by gym leader Faulkner. He leads with a level 9 Pidgey and I go for our newly learned Acid for over half. But then he does what I knew would end us immediately. Go for Sand Attack. At least we do land our next one to KO, but my calcs tell me there is no hope from here on out, as in comes his Pidgeotto. We land an Acid, and it does like less than a quarter before Tackle smashes us for 10 HP. Amazingly, we do hit our next one, and it seems to bring him right to half as we get brought below half. We hit another somehow as we get smashed to 5 HP, then, miraculously, we hit all of our attacks to just be able to take him down. I thought there was just no way if Pidgey even used Stand Attack at all, but wow. We made it through for our first badge and got the Roost TM for winning, which I think might come in handy for a future encounter of ours. Okay, you know, the Togepi egg from Elm is not the egg I was expecting to get, as we can deposit it in the PC and get our real next reward encounter for the badge. And hatching it nets us a Coughing with a Rash plus special attack and minus special defense nature. Not bad, and I am a huge Wheezing fan, so I can't wait to use it. But knowing what's up ahead, I know that we need to prepare insanely well. So I hit up Route 30 to exclusively take down level 3 Caterpie, because we need those HP EVs, and the best strategy here is to actually switch train. That way both of our Pokemon can get some and also split the XP to avoid the cap. Using this method, we can quite literally max them out, leaving some room for defense EVs from Metapod too. And with the first badge in hand, we can get more preparation done by picking up the Rock Smash HM from this guy, then hitting up the ruins again to smash some rocks for colored shards in particular. Exchanging them with the Shard to Berry guy in Violet, we can get an incredible assortment of berries including Citrus, Oran, Pecha, Cherry, Chesto, etc. After declining buying $1 million Slowpoke tail from this sketchy dude, he says, "I thought kids these days were loaded." Nope, only Mr. Beast. Also, I realized recently that each of his videos get more views than my entire channel combined, so, yeah, that's something. Easing myself of my depression, we can at least get a Shell Bell nearby. Yay! In Union Cave, I have a painful reminder that although the Rock Tomb TM is in here and is great for the next gym, neither of our current Pokemon can learn it. Ouch. Sort of bad encounter rolls in this case. Arriving in Azalea Town, I decide it's time to inquire with Kurt about what happened to the damn GS ball. That was such a weird, unanswered arc in Pokemon history. Wait, come back, you son of a... Oh. I'll be your new grandpa now, I guess. Oh, we haven't done this in a while. Kurt, you fell down the well and hurt yourself? What kind of injury is it?
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What, a vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal.
At the end of Slowpoke Well stands Team Rocket admin Proton, and fortunately with our team setup he can't do anything to us. But, nor can we to him. It was a painful stall out of a battle, coughing versus coughing, tackle versus tackle, but ours reigned supreme in the end. And in the Azalea Gym, we get to see what he's really capable of. Completely walling pretty much all of the trainers in here with incredibly high defense and bug and poison resistance, outputting some neutral damage with 50 power assurance too. Beautiful. But what's not beautiful is that we have the second gym leader up next, Bugsy. And honestly, I have like no possible good strat here. We can't even use Toxic Spikes as his Scyther is flying type and Kakuna would eat them up. Let's just try this out. Against his level 17 Scyther, I lead with Tentacool, and he goes for Focus Energy off the bat to raise his crit chances, and we miss Supersonic. Oh, we're so dead. He then quick attacks us to nearly half as we manage to confuse him now. But he breaks through again to slam us to just 10 HP in the red already. And we're lucky it wasn't a crit. I then land an Acid and it does like nothing, but does get the special defense drop. We're out of range of anything but a crit and I have no choice, so I have to keep spamming Acid until he hits us again. But he keeps hitting himself in confusion, and we got 2 more special defense drops, eventually allowing us to take it down. No way! I thought we had a guaranteed Pokemon loss here if we could even get through it at all, but that confusion luck pulled through in a big way despite the initial miss. From there, his Metapod could barely hurt us and got taken down in a few attacks, and against his Kakuna, I played it safe and switched into Coughing to wall the living hell out of it and eventually take it down with assurance. I can't believe we got through that. Every way I played it out in my head, we almost had a guaranteed loss there. Let's go. And we get the U-turn TM for winning too. Speaking of which, we have a great candidate for it as our next reward encounter, as hatching it nets us a Zubat with a lax plus defense and minus special defense nature. I'll take it. Before leaving the town, our rival Silver challenges us to battle, and normally I'm incredibly fearful leading into it, but I think we have a reasonably good setup this time around. You see, he leads with a Ghastly, so I go in with Coughing. He does get a Curse off, but that gives us the range for a super effective Assurance to KO, taking the quarter health damage from Curse in the process. Then in comes Croconaw. A big threat, but we do have water resistance in Tentacool, who I switch into. We get our speed lowered twice in a row before Acid does very little. But then he goes for Bite, which does a third and flinches us. Uh-oh. Knowing we're in crit range now, I switch into Coughing, but he went for Scary Face twice in a row, but then we missed Smog. I know that we need the poison here, as he Scary Faces again before we landed, but no poison. Fortunately, he keeps dropping our speed, so we land another, then miss our next one, then hit another, which finally gets the poison that we've been after. Sheesh. Now I can start tagging him with Assurance, but Water Gun does big damage below half before our berry activates. And now we've got him very low after poison damage, as he hits us again, and we survive on just 16 HP and can land a final attack to take him down. His last Pokemon is Zubat, and I switch into Tentacool here, who gets tagged with a 55% accuracy Supersonic. Oof. We then hit ourselves in Confusion and get tagged with a Bite below half, but our berry helps and we snap out of Confusion to start smashing him with Acid, which is our best bet. As he then hit us again, but then missed Supersonic twice in a row, so another 2 hits did him in. Okay, scarier than I was expecting, that's for sure. After rescuing the Farfetch'd in the Ilex Forest, despite sprinting back to their house at maximum speed, the Charcoal Master and his apprentice somehow got back there before me and gave us the Charcoal item, which you might not think would be very useful for our roster, but I have a feeling it will be eventually. You're the coolest, man! Excuse you? Making our way out of the Ilex Forest, we can get a taunt TM from the girl in the gate before next arriving in Goldenrod City, where the next gym is. The game corner here has a host of great items and TMs as always, and the department store also has the Protect, Light Screen, and Reflect combo that I'm going to collect just in case. Well, with some training under our belt and lots of strategizing, it's time for the third gym leader, Whitney, the normal type specialist. Another gym leader I'm not sure we can make it through, but I cross my fingers and go for it. She leads with her Clefairy with Metronome, and I go in with Tentacool to begin with. We hit a Bubble Beam for a quarter, and then she uses Metronome and gets Body Slam and paralyzes us immediately. Okay, yep, it's over. Double Slap then hits twice before I can land the Toxic Spikes, then we get hit below half before our berry helps us out. Another Bubble Beam brings her to a third before we get hit to 20 HP, then land another attack, which barely doesn't KO on a sliver. Well, I guess that will cause her to waste her Super Potion as I switch in Zubat knowing that it was coming. Wing Attack then does a third, and she misses Double Slap so we can hit her again low, get hit for 9 HP, then land another attack to take that damn thing down. But then in comes her ace, her infamous Miltank, which gets poisoned upon switch-in by the spikes, but it has a Lumberry to heal it. Now the good thing here is that we can't get attracted due to gender, and we can't get flinched due to inner focus. But Stomp hits us low before our berry, and then we miss Supersonic. Why? We then get hit to just 7 HP in the red, but don't flinch so we can then land it. Sheesh. Here I switch in Coughing as she goes for Rollout, and wanting to ensure she doesn't get the full chain of 5 of them, I use Smokescreen, but she hit herself in Confusion anyway. She then snaps out though and stomps us, then I land a Smog, but no poison. We then get flinched by her next attack, but our berry help, so we can tank another one, then land a crit and poison Smog on the next. Finally, with her Lumberry all used up, we can now start unloading with Assurances, with her fortunately missing one of her stomps, but we get brought too low as the poison brings her to the red, and she heals almost fully. Oh no. Assurance and poison combined still don't do much as she hits us again, and we survive on just 5 HP in the red. Goodness gracious. I'm forced to switch, but everything we have is crippled as I go into Tentacool as she uses Rollout, and we're at just 11 HP in the red and paralyzed. This is over. But then, she misses her second one, and we make it through paralysis to hit the Bubble Beam, which doesn't get the KO, but the poison just gets the range and wins us the battle. Oh man, never have I thought a battle was so over. I mean, look at our team. That was nothing short of a miracle. I celebrated so hard after this. My poor neighbors. With the third badge in hand, we can now hit up the PC to grab our next egg encounter, which eventually hatches to give us a Scorupy. Cool. It has a naive plus speed and minus special defense nature, pretty good, and the battle armor ability, meaning it can't get crit, which is huge in Nuzlocks. Grabbing the payback TM along the way, we next arrive at the national park where we can grab the quick claw, but one thing I realized recently, did you know that Persian, a fast normal type cat with technician to boost the power of weaker moves, the ones that have 60 power or less, cannot learn 40 power normal type quick attack in any of the 9 generations? That is one of the most egregious sins Game Freak has ever committed. I mean, I can't even believe that. Here we can also get 2 more awesome pickups, the Dig TM, which should be handy, and also the Soothe Bell to boost friendship, which should be great for helping to evolve Zubat fully. And during training we get halfway there as Zubat evolves into a Golbat at level 22, boosting our team power quite substantially. After punching a Sudowoodo in the mouth, he deserves it. He blocked the trading route of the entire region after all. We then arrive in Ecruteak City where the next gym is. Before that though, hitting up the dance theater lets us pick up one of the best items in the game for us, the Surf HM, not only for navigation but also to have a wicked power stab move for Tentacool too. You know, come to think of it, what is with all these buildings in Ecruteak that have no door? Are there like people trapped inside? Hello? Before our next challenge, I decide to teach Skorupi the Dig TM for a particular reason. In the Burn Tower to the north, we run into a host of powerful trainers, all fascinated by some dogs or something, and Silver challenges us to battle here. His team has received a bit of a buff at this point, but so has ours, as I can lead with our newly evolved Golbat against his Ghastly and outspeed it with the one-hit KO Bite. Then, as planned, we bait in his Magnemite, for which I switch into our singular answer for it, Skorupi. I thought he'd Thundershock, but he instead confuses us immediately. Not good, as we then hit ourselves, and then we get paralyzed by Thunder Wave. He then Sonic Booms, and our berry helps, but then we stay paralyzed on this turn. Ugh. I then went for Dig and realized the massive blunder I made as Sonic Boom hit us low, and if on the turn that we try to come back up we get either confused or paralyzed, it's over, as Sonic Boom does a guaranteed 20 HP damage. But we snap out of confusion and make it through paralysis for the 4-time super effective one-hit KO. Beautiful. Then comes Zubat, for which I get Golbat out there to show him who's boss in a Wing Attack versus Wing Attack throwdown, with us emerging the victor as he missed a Supersonic at one point. His final Pokemon is then Croconaw, who has Ice Fang of all things, but my calcs tell me that we should survive even a crit, so I go for Confuse Ray first. He then Scary Faces, then hits one on the next turn to bring us to half, then Wing Attack hits him with a crit below half. I have to switch now, so I go into a great counter, Tentacool, who resists Water Gun and Ice Fang, and I repeatedly spam Surf while he's confused, although he did land a bite before we took him down for the W. Not too bad, but we did have one close call, that's for sure. Running around like a crazy person to garner friendship for our dear bat friend, we can eventually have Golbat fully evolve into a monster Crobat, which should be quite handy indeed. The Ecruteak Gym is now upon us, and I decide to have Tentacool sweep through the trainers to garner up some sweet special attack EVs from all the ghosty boys. And many ghosts there will be, as the 4th gym leader's next, Morty. His team is always tricky, but for once, I think we might have a clutch counter for him. I lead with Crobat against his Ghastly, being able to one-hit KO it with super effective Bite. I thought about teaching her Taunt for this battle, but it's very hard to predict when he's going to use a status move or not, so then comes his lower level Haunter, which succumbs to one as well. And this is the key. It is damn near impossible to find something that outspeeds his Ace Gengar at this point in the game, but Crobat is an exception, slamming it low before his Berry, then tanking a Shadow Ball right at half, but I know we outspeed and have 100% accuracy, so another does the trick. I even had a Chesto Berry attached in case he tried to put us to sleep, so tagging his Haunter with a final bite KO seals the deal quite safely. And we get the Shadow Ball TM for winning. Honestly, that might have been the best Morty challenge we've ever had. Well played, Batgirl.
And where is the Batman?
Oh, come on. I can't even succeed at jumping off the edge to my doom. To the west, we run into our old dear friend, but okay, the vowel's in front of the other vowel, and then it's okay. Okay, this is just getting ridiculous, man. You know what else is ridiculous? Having to feed this damn Miltank 7 Oran berries in a row in order to get Pokeball seals. This is utterly insane game developer behavior. Almost everyone's going to give up after like 3 if they can even find Oran berries, that is. Arriving in Olivine City, we can now pick up our next reward encounter, which ends up hatching into a Badoo with a serious neutral nature. Cool, should give us some good grass coverage when it evolves. Wait a minute, I never really realized, but this guy who gives you a shuckle seems to suggest that it was Silver who stole his other Pokemon from him. I wonder what it was. What Pokemon does Silver get around here? Was it Magnemite? Or maybe Sneasel? Huh. Interesting part of the lore. Oh, would you look at that. A beautiful team picture on the beaches of Cyanwood. So pleasant.
Look at it.
The car is not perfect.
Just look at it. Just look at it.
Yeah, well.
What the heck is that?
While training up for the next gym, we can finally evolve our starter as Tentacool evolves into a bulky yet powerful Tentacruel. Such an underrated Pokemon. And not only that, but I also have Badoo evolved by friendship into a Rosalia, making it an actual useful Pokemon now. The Cyanwood gym is upon us, and Crobat performs exceptionally well in here, even being able to one-hit KO things like Hitmonchan with a mere wing attack. That's some power. The 5th gym leader is Chuck, the fighting specialist, and I couldn't quite figure out what to do about him as his team is quite a strange one. But I go in with Crobat against his Primeape even though he has Rock Slide, as I know we should survive even a crit from full health if needed, thanks to our plus defense nature. We instantly hit him to the red with Wing Attack, but problem being, he starts double teaming like an absolute madman and Hyper Potions. And we start missing like crazy. After 3 misses, we finally hit one to the red again, but we miss again and Rock Slide hits us for a 3rd. Thankfully, we do hit our next one though to take him down. Then in comes his ace, a savage Poliwrath. I go for Confuse Ray right away to cripple it, and then it hits itself. Knowing Surf would do big damage, I switch into our newly evolved Rosalia, but he hurts himself again. Giga Drain then does huge damage despite his berry helping out, and then he misses Hypnosis, and then another just barely doesn't KO on a Sliver. But he hits himself again for the self-KO to give us the victory. I mean, Rosalia did wall him quite hard, resisting water and fighting, and I had a Chesto Berry on her even if he did get the Hypnosis off, so along with recovery from Giga Drain, I think we had that in the bag. 5 badges, and not only do we get the Fly HM from Chuck's wife for winning, but also a brand new encounter, this time a Venonat with a gentle plus special defense and minus defense nature. Too bad we can't get Quiver Dance in this gen though. At the top of the Olivine Lighthouse, we can rescue the sick Ampharos and... No, wait, what are you doing, Amphi? No! Well, that's a dead Tentacruel. Reminds me of when I dropped my holographic Misty's Tentacruel card under a cabinet in my parents' house as a kid, and my mom refused to move the cabinet so I could get it. Then years later, we had professional movers move it, and the card was not there. I waited for years for sheer disappointment. Sorry, just reliving some trauma. Wait, this is just so wonderful? Jasmine, you psychopath, you just killed my Squiddy boy. With some training under her belt, our Venonat then evolves into a Venomoth, and without Quiver Dance, I'm wondering what she'll be able to accomplish, but I guess we'll have to find out. Right about now, I'm feeling confident we can take on the Olivine gym, despite the fact that its level cap is higher than the next gym, as Jasmine leads with a Magnemite and I send out Skorupi. This time we don't have as much Magnemite trouble as I trained him up in speed a bit so we can get underground, avoid paralysis, and land the 4 times damage 1-hit KO dig. Then in comes her monster Steelix, so I immediately make the switch into Tentacruel trying to bait the Rock Tomb, but she set up Sandstorm instead. A Surf then surprisingly doesn't 1-hit KO it, but even Iron Tail is resisted too, so we tank it and the Sandstorm damage with ease and land the finishing blow. Her final Pokemon is then a second Magnemite, so I switch back into Skorupi, and she went for Thunderbolt, which does massive damage, and the Sandstorm brings us to the red. I was expecting the Thunder Wave, which I had a Cherry Berry for, but oh well, as being underground helps us avoid both her attack and the Sandstorm, allowing us to KO her and win our 6th badge. Not too shabby. Up north at the Lake of Rage, we can pick up both the Hidden Power and Secret Power TMs, but more importantly than that, we can find one of the single best items in the game, the Choice Specs. I think we'll be able to make good use of this. Oh, and then we find this weird, like, red-colored Gyarados, so, let's just run so our Pokemon doesn't get infected too. Oh, it looks like the infection has spread to humans as well. That poor dude's head. Oh my god. Lance, what did you do? What took me so long? Don't try to deflect from you killing someone right in front of me. In the Rocket Mahogany Hideout, we can grab the Thief TM, which would be great for getting something like the Black Sludge, but the only Pokemon we can get it from are Wild Krogunk, which aren't available until the post-game. There is another method, but it's kinda tricky. We'll talk about that later. Having Venomoth on the overworld for the first time, she looks kinda disturbed. Reaching Petrol near the end gives me a flash of brilliance, as I realize Venomoth is the perfect counter to him. 4 times resisting poison, and I can also attach the Choice Specs so Psybeam has enough power to sweep through his entire team.
Nice.
Wait, Murkrow, don't run away, I need you! A double battle with Lance against Team Rocket admin Ariana then ensues, and boy oh boy do the champ and I ever have synergy, as he uses Fly with Dragonite as I go for Surf repeatedly with Tentacruel, and of course with us being not affected by Arbok's Intimidate, this went pretty smoothly, with us not even hurting Dragonite and only getting paralyzed and having received chip damage in the process. Oh great, Lance, we just worked well together and now you want to go and do more killing? I'm not participating in your... Okay, this would be kind of fun, I'm not gonna lie. With that behind us, it's time for the Mahogany Town gym leader, Price, the ice specialist, and I think I have a pretty darn good plan for him. You see, Roselia recently learned Giga Drain, and attaching the Choice Specs on her allows us to one-hit KO his Seal off the bat. Now this is pretty risky given that we're facing an ice team after all, but Piloswine also gets down to a crit, although my calcs tell me that was a guaranteed one-hit KO. Dugong, however, his final Pokemon, is not the same case, as he outspeeds us with Priority Ice Shard for a bit less than half, and we only have a 97% chance to one-hit KO. But we do get it for the victory. We did of course get huge recovery anyway, so we were pretty safe either way. Roselia finally making a contribution to the run. You love to see it. At this point, I was starting to get some ideas in my head about a possible deathless run here since we're doing pretty well, but we do have some big challenges ahead. For winning that badge, we then get another reward encounter, and hatching it gives us a Krogunk with a Lonely plus attack and minus defense nature, and I'll take anything that's plus attack to be honest. Unless it was minus speed. That would not be good. Now what's cool is that only after defeating the Rockets you can go back to the gate up north to get the Sludge Bomb TM. Otherwise, if they're still there, you legit get robbed. I'm serious. And yes, sir, the Sludge Bomb TM does make me uncomfortable because I don't know what to use it on. We have so many options. Oh yeah, baby, with a coughing by our side, we sure do fit the Rocket Grunt vibe. Oh, you're happy about this, are you? Of course you would be, you sick son of a... In the director's office, we have a final battle with Petrel, and what can I say? Our good old Venomoth, comes in clutch again with a Psybeam Choice Specs combo, with the only blip being that Weezing survived one on a Sliver, but fortunately just went for Tackle instead of exploding. Light work for the Supreme Bug. While training up for our next battle, we have a Wicked Evolution as Krogunk evolves into a Toxicroak, which I waited until level 38 for so she could learn Poison Jab. And to power her up even further, I bought the Swords Dance TM from the Game Corner. That's huge. In the Goldenrod Underground, we have another battle with our rival Silver, with his team being extremely powerful at this point, but I think I have a plan. Against his lead Golbat, I go in with Tentacruel, who is now wielding another Game Corner prize, the Ice Beam TM, and we can outspeed even it and bring it right to a Sliver before getting hit with Bite for not much, meaning we can hit it again for the KO afterward. In comes Magnemite next, so here I switch into our newly evolved Toxicroak, who gets paralyzed right away by Thunder Wave, but I had attached a Cherry Berry which heals us. Now I can instantly KO it with Rock Smash, Toxicroak's best fighting move at the moment. Then comes Haunter, tricky as a ghost type, but we do have an answer, Feint Attack, which demolishes it. Sneasel then comes in, and I know it only has Feint Attack which we resist, so I take the opportunity to use Swords Dance to raise our attack to sky-high levels. Then smash it with the stab 4x super effective Rock Smash. His final Pokemon is then his fully evolved Feraligatr, and a single Poison Jab is enough to get the job done. What a great addition to the team. You know, I've always found it strange how you're meant to rescue the director who's being held hostage, but he refuses to come with you? Just gives you a key and decides to stay there. So weird. Near the top of the radio tower, we have our final battle with Ariana, and Tentacruel serves as a great answer to her yet again. Her Arbok did survive Surf low surprisingly, and then uses Crunch instead of Glare, so our Cherry Berry goes to waste, but another gets the job done. We could then outspeed and one-hit KO her Murkrow with Ice Beam, which also serves as an answer to her Vileplume, taking it down in 2 attacks as she missed Sleep Powder. Solid. The final rocket battle is upon us as Admin Archer awaits us at the rooftop, and attaching the Choice Specs on Tentacruel is the perfect answer to his team, being able to one-hit KO his Houndour, and then we even outspeed his Houndoom to do the same to it. People are often surprised by how speedy Tentacruel is. A base 100 speed stat is nothing to play around with, as his coughing then gets decimated too. What a monster. The director then refuses to tell us the information that we need and then makes a joke about using Fake Out on us? Whose man even is this? Far ahead in the Icy Cave, we can pick up the Never Melt Ice to boost our Ice Move power before then arriving in the final gym location, Blackthorn City. And finally we can access the damn Move Relearner and Move Deleter. I will never forgive them for withholding holding them until so late in game. Entering the Route 45 side of the Dark Cave allows us to finally pick up a great item that I've been waiting for, the black glasses to boost the power of dark type moves. And entering the Blackthorn gym, unfortunately I can't evolve Coughing and Skorupi yet, as we need level up moves after the cap that they otherwise wouldn't learn until after the league. But I think we can get by regardless, as Tentacruel is going off with Choice Specs Ice Beam against all the trainers. The 8th gym leader though, Claire, the dragon trainer, is a bit of a trickier situation. She leads with a non-dragon type Gyarados, meaning I had to come up with an alternate plan. I lead with Roselia to take Intimidate, and then Bite slams us to nearly half. And gets the flinch. Okay, my plan is ruined. I'm now forced to switch, so I go into Crobat, who gets hit for not much before landing a Confuse Ray on her. She then hits herself in Confusion, and I tag her with Bite, hoping for the Confusion Flinch combo, but she snaps out of Confusion and hits us to half. Ugh. I confuse her again, and she hits herself, so I can then hit a Bite again to the red, as she hits herself again, but it's not quite enough to KO. She then heals fully, and I go for Fly, but somehow we miss. Are you kidding me? And she snaps out of Confusion immediately to hit us hard to the red. Okay, everything is foiled. This is a disaster already. I then switch into Toxicroak, and Dragon Pulse does about a quarter on us before Poison Jab does just over half. Dragon Rage then hits us low before our Berry, and now I go for Feint Attack to ensure that we don't get the KO. This is because I want to switch into Tentacruel without the risk of getting paralyzed by her next Pokemon, so we can tank Dragon Rage and take that damn thing down with Ice Beam. Good riddance. Now we're locked into Ice Beam due to Choice Specs, but it gives us enough power to be able to one-hit KO both of her Dragonairs consecutively. Wicked. Then in comes her ace, Kingdra, one of my favorite Pokemon ever, but not when I'm facing it. Ice Beam is neutral on her due to her part water typing, and it does just less than half, and freezes though, but she thaws out right away and hits us low. Of course. Another brings her to just a sliver before her berry activates, and we get hit to just 10 HP. Sheesh. From here though, we can outspeed and land the final one to win our 8th and final badge. Stellar. With the level cap now updated, we can finally evolve Skorupi into a Drapion after she learned the crucial Crunch move at level 45. And we can also evolve Coughing into a defensive beast, Wheezing, after learning Sludge Bomb at level 42. Let's go. Back in Ecruteak City, a huge challenge awaits us, the 5 Kimono Girls, who each have an evolution and who you have to face consecutively without healing and without changing your Pokemon order too. So I decide to have our newly evolved Drapion out first, and Bug Bite does just over half on the first one's Umbreon, who then confuses us. But our Lumberry heals us so we can hit another, but barely don't KO on a sliver. Whoops. I just need Drapion to pull through on the next turn, and she does, mitigating a huge risk. Whew. The next one's Espeon would have been a huge threat to our whole team, but our part dark typing and quick speed allows us to one-hit KO it with Crunch. Clutch. From there, both their Flareon and Jolteon could be outsped and one-hit KO'd with Dig, and the final one has a Vaporeon, so I switched in Tentacruel to play it safe, resisting every move she has apart from Quick Attack and being able to respond with a few Poison Jabs to eventually take it down with the help of Poison, taking a third damage in the process. Not bad at all. One of the most beautiful areas in the entire Pokemon franchise, the Bellchime Trail. I love this place with all of my heart. Just gorgeous. Atop the Tin Tower, we're faced with the mighty, legendary Ho-Oh. And I had gone in with Tentacruel against it, whose Surf does over half, but then it has super effective Extra Sensory, which, it turns out a crit would have actually taken us out. Whoops. Glad we dodged that one. Killing Ho-Oh then makes the entire region depressed apparently. Well, I'm used to disappointing people, so no matter.
I don't need friends, they disappoint me.
With the region's mascot dead, we can then make our way into Victory Road, the last test before the league. Along the way in here, we can pick up a great TM, Earthquake, before eventually arriving at our final rival battle against Silver. This time we have a new threat to take him on with, as I leveled up Drapion quite close to the cap and used Swords Dance. But his Sneasel having Icy Wind to lower our speed is too dangerous, so I have to unleash with a Bug Bite KO after getting hit by Quick Attack. Fortunately, our plus speed nature still allows us to take down his Feraligatr to the red, get hit by Waterfall to below half, and then outspeed with another one to take it down. And from there, we could outspeed and one-hit KO his Golbat with Crunch, his Magneton with 4x super effective Dig, then both his Haunter and Kadabra with Stab super effective 80 power plus 2 Crunch. Drapion, you absolute savage. That win grants us access to our ultimate destination, the Indigo Plateau Pokemon League. And here I pick up our final encounter, a Nidoran female with a naive plus speed and minus special defense nature, which I don't think I'm going to take in based on my strategizing, and I think I'm going to take Venomoth instead of Roselia too. After fulfilling the rest of our EVs and getting any remaining items and TMs we might need, it's time for the Elite Four. The first Elite Four member is Will, the Psychic Trainer, again normally a giant threat to our whole team, but Drapion serves as our one answer, as I attached a Lumberry even if his lead Xatu tried to confuse us, meaning I know we have a free turn to Swords Dance no matter what, then can either crunch every one of his Pokemon into oblivion or Bug Bite in the case of his Exeggutor. Quite a way to start. The second Elite Four member is our very own father, Koga. What a cool battle this is going to be.
Are you sure about that?
He leads with his Ariados, and I get our newly evolved Weezing on the field. That's right, Weezing can learn none other than Flamethrower, instantly eviscerating that spidery boy with the help of our special attack investment. Next comes Venomoth, and unfortunately we wouldn't be able to one-hit KO it, and I know he's going to go for Psychic, so I go in with Drapion for the immunity prediction, but he goes for Supersonic instead. Weird, but I did have a Lumberry, so we're in the clear for now. As Crunch hits him for 3/4, then he just uses Gust, so another one does the trick. Next is his Fortress, and I know for it I can easily get Weezing back on the field to 4x damage Flamethrower him into the Netherworld. The Supreme Physical Wall strikes again. Then in comes Crobat, and I know the only threat here is Double Team, which he does use, and we indeed miss Thunderbolt. But I had kept Haze on Weezing for this exact reason, being able to shut down any of his evasiveness boosting attempts, meaning we can now hit Thunderbolt reliably a couple of times to knock him out. Then in comes his final Pokemon, Muck. I immediately switch into Toxicroak, and indeed he uses Minimize to raise his evasiveness. We then miss Taunt, but he misses Gunk Shot too. Interesting. We hit it on the next turn to prevent Minimize, and I thought we'd be okay now to hit Dig with Drapion, but even that one boost makes us miss after I Swords Danced, and he started minimizing again. I kid you not, it was an over 5-minute process to take this one Pokemon down. As Weezing was a good switch in with Haze, being able to actually get rid of the boost that he got, but still took forever with him having the Black Sludge item for recovery too, which we could have stolen using Thief by the way. Well, I guess dads really are that annoying. The third Elite Four member is Bruno, the fighting expert, and he was one tough one to prep for. Even though we do have resistance against his primary type, unfortunately Venomoth isn't quite able to one-hit KO his Pokemon with a Choice Spec Psybeam. But we do take down his Hitmontop in 2 of them, then surprisingly his Onix survived one and hit us with a stab super effective Rock Slide, but fortunately his attack is quite poor so we survived and took him down with a couple more after he healed. Then came Hitmonlee, so I switched into Crobat to tank Blaze Kick, then Fly actually managed the one-hit KO. That is huge. In fact, the same goes for his Hitmonchan too, which could have hit us hard with Iron Fist boosted Thunder Punch. His final Pokemon is a big threat, Machamp, who has Rock Slide, meaning I have to switch. But fortunately, Weezing is a monstrous physical defender, but he did keep flinching us and he has no guards, so he never misses Rock Slide either. A few Sludge Bombs poison him though, thank goodness he doesn't have guts, but eventually he crit us down low before we brought him to a quarter even after his berry. Ultimately, I decided the risk of switching was worse than the risk of getting crit, so I stay in, and we survive another on just 12 HP in the red and can land the final Sludge Bomb to take out that huge threat and win us the battle. Damn. The last Elite Four member is Karen, the Dark-type trainer, and her team can be very hard to deal with on the face of it, but I lead with Crobat against her Umbreon. This Umbreon is incredibly pesky, but I cut off its life source with Taunt at the outset, making her unable to Confuse Ray or Double Team, then switch into Toxicroak to resist the Feint attack and get a Swords Dance off. Her Taunt then wears off, but I attached a Lumberry, so I'm hoping she goes for Confuse Ray as I get another off, but nope, Double Team. This could get bad real quick, but I needed the +4 attack since Rock Smash is our strongest fighting move. But we make it through and take her down. Yes, now I can slam Murkrow with the Poison Jab KO, then outspeed even Houndoom with Rock Smash too. Sweet. But then in comes Gengar, and its crazy speed and Destiny Bond can be a real danger. But I retaught Toxicroak Sucker Punch, out-prioritizing Gengar the moment it tried to use an attacking move. Unreal. Then Vileplume also goes down to a Poison Jab, scoring us the victory. Well, it's time. After using the rest of our rare candies, here comes the champion of the Kanto and Johto regions, Lance the Dragon Master. His team is utterly terrifying in almost every way, but with my best plan in place, let's go for it. He leaves with his Intimidate Gyarados, and I get Wheezing on the field, our one way to reliably counter it, as we tank Waterfall amazingly well and then land the 4x super effective Thunderbolt, which barely doesn't KO, but paralyzes, but he of course full restores immediately, after which we land another, and get the range this time to KO. Nice. Then in comes one of his Dragonites, which paralyzes us off the bat with Thunder Wave, but we do land the Sludge Bomb for a quarter. This is exactly what I wanted though, as now I know he won't go for Thunder Wave again, so I can safely switch in Tentacruel, but he uses Thunder of all things to bring us below half before our berry. Sheesh. I was not expecting that. But now, I can unleash with a 4x super effective Ice Beam to not only take it down, but also one-hit KO his second Dragonite too. That's huge, as in comes his Aerodactyl, which I know will outspeed us, but my calcs tell me we should survive a Thunderfang, and we do, with no paralysis or flinch, so we can wipe him off the face of the map with Surf. Then in comes his level 50 Dragonite, so I Ice Beam again, but somehow this one survives in the red before his berry. Oh no! As he then unleashes an Unholy Outrage to give us the first death of the run. I don't know how that happened. I thought my calcs were solid. We even one-hit KO'd a level 49 Dragonite with ease, but this one had a good chunk left with just one level more. This is not good. I decide to get Drapion out there for the Crunch KO at least, and then in comes his final Pokemon, Charizard. I go for Crunch again, but it doesn't even do half. Uh-oh. As Air Slash then does just over half on us. These ranges are playing out brutally. I have no choice, so I go into Crobat, and we have a better range here, so I go for Fly, but we just barely don't KO on a Sliver, and then he tags us down to just 14 HP in the red before our berry. Goodness gracious. I then go for Cross Poison, but he full restores again. I hate this. I have to switch, but our only two full health Pokemon are both weak to flying. Yikes. I decide to try going into Wheezing for a desperate attempt to save Crobat, but two Air Slashes do just enough to take us down by the slimmest of margins. Ouch. I then get Crobat out again to tag him with a Cross Poison, desperately hoping for a crit, but nope, as Crobat goes down to another attack. But from here, we can finally have Drapion outspeed that damn thing and take it down with Crunch. Oh man, it was much rougher than expected, but we did it. We beat Pokemon HeartGold and made it through the Johto region as Janine with her best team, taking 3 total losses. That was a stellar run right up until the end, but I'm proud and quite impressed with how our poison types performed. We have less than a full team remaining, but hey, if you guys would like to see a run through the Kanto portion of the game, let me know. Perhaps we could even do it on stream or something. That's all for this run, and I'll see you guys next time for another challenge video.